and welcome to the Frostburg Experience. I'm Mia Williams. On today's show, we will be joined by two study abroad students, Flo Grain from France and Ileana Lopez from Argentina, who will be here to talk about their experiences studying here at Frostburg State University. But first, I'm very pleased to be joined in the studio by President Nowaczyk. President Nowaczyk, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks,
Welcome
Mia.
to the show.
Thank you.
What did you know about Frostburg State University before applying for this position?
Well, Mia, I knew about Frostburg State for probably about 5 or 6 years in that in my previous position as an academic vice president, the school I was at, Frostburg was one of our competitive schools that we looked at and compared ourselves with a comparison institution. So I was familiar with many of the things that Frostburg was doing and watched it, much like I do know that Frostburg has my former institution as one of its comparison institutions. So we watch and see how things are at both institutions to get an idea of what new programs may be coming along and what kinds of opportunities are being offered to students.
Okay. So what do you believe to be Frostburg State University's main strengths?
Well, my 8 days that I've been here as president, I will tell you the two things that have come across. One was last week when I met students at the midnight breakfast, and when talking with the students who were working there, I saw students with a lot of responsibilities for running the event, and I said, what year are you in? And assuming they were juniors or seniors, and many of them were freshmen or sophomores. So the one thing I came away with from that evening was that students at Frostburg really do get engaged very early on, this concept of a world of experiences. It's clear that Frostburg is living that in committing itself to getting students involved outside the classroom in really meaningful activities. The second I would mention is that this past week I met a number of the foundation board members who oftentimes for the Frostburg State University Foundation, many of the people I met are alums of the university. And one of the easiest questions to ask them is, well, tell me about your experiences at Frostburg. And the students love to go on, the alums love to go on and talk about their experiences here and the great times they've had. One of the things that several shared with me is the fact that they told me and mentioned names of faculty that really took an interest in them. And it wasn't the thing where they said the faculty just came to them or they would search out the faculty. The faculty went the extra step to say, I want you to come in and talk with me. I want to hear what you're doing. And at least two of the alums talked about the fact that there were faculty that said, as they put it, saw something in them that gave them the confidence to be successful business people today. So I think those are the two really great strengths that I've been able to pick up in just the first 2 weeks, that engagement and that real commitment from the faculty.
Okay. So what would you say are some things that FSU needs to be improved?
Well, I think like many institutions that are regional comprehensive state universities, much like Frostburg State University, I think, is student success. Okay. As you know, today the economy is such that it is difficult for families to afford a college education. Right. And so we need to be really attuned to ensuring that when students come in, we help them get through the experience of going through college successfully. We want to really make sure students persist and graduate. From a parental side, graduate in 4 years. I know from student side, the college experience oftentimes is one where you enjoy that 5th year or 6th year, but really 4 years, and provide the students with when we talk about student success, I think the skills and knowledge to be confident they can be successful in life and be prepared for careers that may not exist today and have that background that gives them the ability to say, yes, I can do it. So I think what you'll hear from me, the one mantra, the biggest thing we will continue to work on is student success.
Okay. Now, what are some of your short-term and long-term goals here?
Okay. Well, the short-term is an easy one. For the next 3 months, I'm really going to be spending time listening. Okay. And I'm trying to learn about the school, understand the culture of the institution, the history, what makes Frostburg State the school it is. Right. And that involves me really listening to people, reading as much as I can about the school, asking questions, getting out, meeting people. And then I think the long-term goals are going to be those that are going to come from what we'll call the strategic plan. As you may know, many institutions have a strategic plan that they put in place for a 5 or 8 year period to help them direct them for where they need to go. Well, Frostburg is just coming off their most recent strategic plan. So one of the things we'll be working on next year will be what are those long-term goals? What are those long-term plans? So I'm hoping to involve faculty, staff, students, the community, alums, to help shape that so that next spring we have a plan for what we plan to do as a university for the next 8 or 9 years.
All right. So what do you like most about the university and its surrounding area?
What I like about the university is its size. And I like its mission, that it's committed for the students, and that it's also committed to the community. One of the things you will hear me say many times is that that we are a regional university, which means we're here to serve the region, the students, not only the citizens and the people of the state of Maryland, but also more particularly those people in the immediate area. Frostburg State is really an asset for this region and for the county, and for the 3 counties actually in Western Maryland. And so we need to work with the communities to help them and help their citizens move forward. So I just find the rural is, we were talking earlier, you know, I come from the large city, I grew up in Chicago, but I really enjoy the small town. Right. And the ability to get to know people, be out, be around, and make changes are easier, and to really make some improvements in the community and help enhance the lives of the people in the region is something that I'm really committed to, and I think that's what Frostburg's about. All right.
And lastly, what would you like people to know about you?
Well, I think from a professional side, 2 things. One is hope people appreciate my sense of humor, okay? And I try to take my work seriously, but myself not as seriously. Okay. So I hope people pick up on that sense of humor. The other is I want to be accessible. And so I want to make sure people feel they have the ability to get to see me, whether they're faculty, staff, people in the community, students, alums. I think it's important that they feel comfortable enough to share their ideas with me and to help shape where Frostburg State University is going in the future. On a personal note, we're really excited. My wife Maureen and my son Jake, I have a 9-year-old, are excited about moving to the area. I'll quickly tell you that when we were interviewing and looking at the school, he wasn't quite sure why I was visiting Frostburg. And we didn't want to tell him, you know, anything about what was going on. So we just said, well, Frostburg wants me to come out and take a look at the school. Okay. And so we weren't sure how he would respond to it. But when he found out that the mascot was a bobcat, his elementary school mascot is a bobcat. Oh, nice. So the transition was easy. He was set. And in fact, he wears a Frostburg State Bobcat shirt now to school in Pennsylvania. So we're really looking forward to joining the community.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us, President Nowaczyk.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We very much appreciate you taking the time. And later, we'll be joined by Julia Miller, a nurse at Frostburg State University's Brady Health Center. She will talk to us about general health awareness. But first, let's learn about studying abroad and the many opportunities FSU has to offer. Here's field reporter Aaron Cook with more.
Are you interested in traveling to another country for an alternative learning experience? Frostburg allows students that are interested to travel to a number of different countries through its study abroad program. I spoke with the Associate Director of CIE, the Center for International Education, Mrs. Victoria Gerhardt, about the study abroad program here at Frostburg.
I believe students should study abroad. Number one, it's a fun, life-changing experience. Study abroad will help boost a student's resume. The first thing I tell students to do when they're interested in studying abroad is first come to a study abroad information session. We generally hold those sessions every other Friday throughout the spring and fall semesters. But concerning paperwork, the application system went online. In order for students to transfer their credits back to FSU, we have an academic plan for study abroad. So students will have all their classes approved to transfer back before they depart for their study abroad experience.
I also stopped to speak with Francesca Garland about her studying abroad experience.
After my sophomore year, things didn't work out with my landlord, so I went to Victoria and I asked her how I could leave the campus and go to a new country. I studied abroad in Northeast England. It's called Newcastle, England, Newcastle upon Tyne. I also got to visit many countries while I was over there. School was definitely different. They actually don't have an attendance policy. They also don't have homework or midterms. You have one final grade, which is your final exam at the end of the semester. I would like to say that everybody should study abroad. You need to get yourself out of anything that makes you comfortable. Go experience the world. Put yourself in predicaments that you wouldn't be in normally and see how you make it through. It'll make you stronger and wiser.
The positive feedback that I get from students when they come back is priceless. They just have a new perspective, and that's really important as our country becomes so globalized and so connected with other countries. So I think study abroad is essential for every single student.
For the Frostburg experience, I'm Aaron Cook.
Thanks, Aaron. Studying abroad seems like an amazing way to not only learn about a new culture, but also about many career opportunities. When we return, we will be joined by two study abroad students, Flo and Ileana, to talk about their experiences here at Frostburg State University.
Hungry?
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Welcome back. I'm joined now in the studio by two international students who are studying abroad here at Frostburg State University. Welcome to the show, Flo and Ileana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ileana, how was your school in Argentina different from FSU?
Actually, it is similar, but it is smaller. We have a TV studio like here, but it is less organized. Actually, everything in Argentina is less organized than in the United States. But the big difference that I realized here is that in Argentina, the most of your classmates probably become your friends. And here, the relationships between partners is colder, and sometimes I miss this about my home university.
Oh, okay.
But this is nice.
And Flo, how was your school in France different from FSU?
Well, it was really different. My school was smaller. Most schools are smaller than U.S. schools. They have less money, so less materials. Do things like that, it's kind of difficult there. I don't know. And because there's less money in schools, we don't do as much in there. We just go to school to study. You know, we don't go there to participate to events and things like that. It's mainly the difference, I guess.
Okay. Ileana, why did you choose to study abroad?
I think it is an experience that enriches people in many aspects. For example, it helps me to improve my English, I think. It becomes me more intercultural competent. It opens my mind. But one important thing is that it makes me value my traditions, my customs, and my country more than before.
Okay.
Yes.
And Flo, why did you choose to study abroad?
Well, a lot of the same reasons as she said. I wanted to open my mind on another culture. I was really bored of my own. I mean, I really like French culture, but I wanted to see something different. Since I'm a really young kid, I keep telling myself that I would see the world with my own eyes. And
So Flo, do you have any tips for anyone who would like to visit France?
yeah, sure. I think that one of the best way to experience France is to get in touch with locals. So I guess a really neat way to go would be to use sites like Airbnb or things like that instead of just staying in hotel or in organized groups, and stay with people you know or that speaks the same language. You know, it's good. I really like diversity. I think that's the best way to get closer to a culture and actually learn something.
Okay.
So I would advise that. I would advise anyone to get out of the main touristic roads and I don't know, just visit the countryside, not just the main cities, and do things like that.
All right. And what about you, Ileana? Would you advise or give any tips for anyone who would like to visit Argentina?
Yes, definitely. I recommend people to go to Argentina because it is a very beautiful country. We have awesome landscape from the north to the south. I think that if you go to Argentina, you will love the Argentinian food. It's awesome. And people is also very friendly, and we make all foreign people feel like in their homes. So,
Okay.
yes.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Flo and Ileana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
When we return, we will hear from our field reporter, Aaron Cook. He will be giving us some tips about how to dress for Frostburg's weather.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Welcome back. Let's now join Aaron Cook, our field reporter, to learn how to dress for Frostburg's eclectic weather.
Whether it be summer, fall, winter, or spring, extreme changes in the weather occur in the Allegheny County Mountains. While school is in session, Frostburg students are sure to experience all 4 seasonal temperatures. Oftentimes, incoming students are unaware of appropriate clothing to wear during these seasons. I caught up with Frostburg student Antoine Walton to discuss how he adjusts to Frostburg's unpredictable weather.
I feel like it's 2 seasons in Frostburg, and that's summer and winter. Skip spring, skip fall. So it's either you dressed it out, in a t-shirt, or you in a jacket, some jeans, and some boots. Winter break, I'm bringing out everything. Beanies, jackets, jeans, my thick socks, everything. It gets cold out here. You gotta bundle up.
When the weather is inconsistent, transitioning between these seasons can be tricky. Frostburg does have options for students to shop locally. Being unprepared for the seasonal change in Frostburg can lead to unpleasant results. The key is to stay aware and dress appropriately for the current weather. For the Frostburg Experience, I'm Aaron Cook.
Thanks, Aaron. We will be sure to keep those tips in mind. Now, Chef Jess Clay will join us in the studio to show us how to prepare a healthy meal. Chef Clay is the owner and executive chef of Shift, a farm-to-table restaurant located in Frostburg.
Thanks so much, Mia. My name's Jess Clay. I'm chef and owner of Shift Restaurant located at 39 Broadway Street right here in Frostburg. And I am going to prepare for you a kale Caesar salad. I have most of my kale cleaned up, but when you buy it in the market, it's gonna come on a big stem, so that stem's not very edible. You wanna just basically tear the leaf right off the stem, and then you're left with all this beautiful kale. And what I like to do is kind of just tear it and leave it in bite-sized pieces. Obviously, you don't want huge chunks that you're trying to put in your mouth when you're eating a salad. So, about bite-sized pieces. Okay, so my kale's clean and it's ready to go. Now I'm gonna work on the dressing. So we make most of our dressings at Shift from scratch, and all of our condiments, that's really what we try and focus on. So when I was coming up with a Caesar salad recipe, I really didn't want to use anchovies, but I also wanted that brininess. So I came up with using raw garlic, but not in chunk form, because obviously that would be really overpowering. So what you want to do is get a mortar and pestle, and you want to put about a teaspoon of salt in there, and then you're just going to start whacking your garlic until you can form it into a paste, essentially. So I have my garlic in a paste, and in this container I have about a half a cup of Greek yogurt, and then I have about a quarter of a cup of the mayonnaise. And to that, I just want to add my garlic. I'm not going to add any salt to the dressing since the salt was already mashed in with the garlic. And then I prefer sherry vinegar, but you can use red wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar, and you want to go for about 2 teaspoons just to kind of cut the richness of the yogurt and the mayonnaise. And you want to mix it together till it's all incorporated. And then from there, I like to add about a half a teaspoon of black pepper. Use less or more according to what your preference is. And pretty much in a nutshell, that's our dressing that we're going to use. You want a pretty nice sized bowl when you're trying to toss the salad because you want to be able to turn it and coat it. And it's also kind of key to start with a little bit of the salad dressing. A little bit goes a long way. You can't take it out once you put it in because you don't want it to be, weighed down and soggy. You want to still have a nice crunch to it. So we're just going to start tossing this until it starts to kind of come together and coat it. I am going to add some Kalamata olives. Again, you can pretty much put whatever vegetable you want. I like this because it kind of mimics the anchovies. So we're going to keep tossing it a little bit more until it's kind of all incorporated. Okay, so then to that, I'm going to add some croutons. Now, we make these in-house. Essentially, we just take all of our stale bread, toss it in a little bit of olive oil, canola oil, whatever you prefer. This we put a little bit of like rosemary and thyme and things of that nature on there. But you're just going to put them in the oven, cut them into cubes, put them in the oven for about 15-20 minutes, and you got yourself some croutons. Okay, now for me, the most important part of the Caesar salad is the Parmesan cheese. So we're going to grate some in there and then toss it one more time, and then we are also going to grate some on it after I plate it up. All right, so now I have some plates in front of me. Put the other one on here. All right, well there's our kale Caesar salads. Now again, I'm gonna just put a few more olives on there and a few more croutons. And then I am going to put a little bit more of the Parmesan cheese. I like a microplane. Box graters, they're heavy and bulky and kind of hard to maneuver. So a microplane is definitely a good investment. All right, and there you have it, the kale Caesar salad with Kalamata olives. We have rye croutons and a nice homemade garlic yogurt dressing. And like I said, you can top it with pretty much, whatever else you would like to. If you want to put chicken, steak, shrimp, really the possibilities are endless. So anyway, I want to thank you for joining me today, and check out our website at shiftfrostburg.com.
Thank you, Chef Clay. Now, let's learn about Frostburg State University's Brady Health Center, health awareness, and the services offered at the center. Here's field reporter Aaron Cook with more.
Are you searching for a satisfying workout experience? If so, FSU provides many options for fitness-conscious students. Oftentimes, students have difficulties distinguishing an appropriate space for the workout they are seeking. Frostburg provides convenient facilities that cater to specific exercise needs. Located in the Lane Center, the AstraZeneca Fitness Center caters to students looking for an individual workout experience. Here, students have access to anything from treadmills to resistance machines, even dumbbells. The Courts PE Center provides a more extensive workout experience for students wanting a more interactive workout environment. Students have options to play team sports in either Bobcat Arena or any of the auxiliary gyms while they aren't in use by athletic teams. There are also a vast number of organized team sports managed by the intramurals department. Teams can sign up through the IM League's website. The Strength and Conditioning Center provides a more extensive workout with more options for students to use. There is a separate room for cardio and even a rock climbing center. There are also locker rooms and showers available at students' disposal. For the Frostburg Experience, I'm Aaron Cook.
Thanks, Aaron. When we return, I will be joined by Julia Miller, one of the nurses at the FSU's Brady Health Center. She will be talking to us about general health awareness and the services Brady Health Center offers. Please stay tuned.
Lead paint poisoning affects 1 million children today. If you're pregnant or have young children and your home was built before 1978, you could be at risk. Learn how to protect your family. To find your home's danger zones, the health effects, or just to find help, log on to leadfreekids.org.
Welcome back. I am joined in the studio by Julia Miller, one of the nurses at FSU's Brady Health Center. Welcome to the show, Mrs. Miller.
Thank you.
What type of services does the Brady Health Center offer?
Well, the health center is staffed with 3 nurse practitioners, 2 registered nurses, and 2 front office staff. We're open Monday through Friday, and students can actually make an appointment. They can call, they can just stop in, and we actually have an online portal that they can go to the Brady Health website. They can access that, and they can schedule an appointment that way. So that works well. The services that we offer, we see minor illnesses like sore throats, minor injuries. We also see women, we do women's health, we offer birth control, STI testing. Another thing we offer are immunizations, tetanus, flu vaccine, things like that. And of course, my favorite is wellness. And we have several wellness programs at the health center. My program that I have is Bobcats for Better Health, and we focus more on nutrition, exercise, things like that. And we also have a smoking cessation program that's free of charge. So that's, we offer a lot of good services at the health center.
So what type of things can people do to reduce their risks of contracting seasonal flu?
That's a good question, because the flu is just something that just knocks you off your feet typically when you get it, and college students don't have time for that. Probably the best advice I can give is to get a yearly seasonal flu vaccine. That's something that we do offer at the health center. And you can call for an appointment to get that flu vaccine, or we have flu clinics, like say for instance down at the Lane Center. We try to keep that at a minimal fee, which works out well. Some students, if they have insurance, they can go to say a drugstore, Rite Aid, CVS, or their regular doctor and get the vaccine free of charge. Some students find out that it's just easier to come to the health center. The other thing, of course, you've heard it since you were little, is hand washing. You know that if you can't wash your hands, using hand sanitizer, and then things like keeping your hands away from your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Just basic things that you've heard forever, but it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what are some easy to do tips to stay healthy?
Well, actually, with my program, Bobcats for Better Health, that's something that we focus on, because our goal is for students to leave the university with a healthier lifestyle than when they came. And as a college student, that is really, that's a challenge. Healthy eating, that's something that I think it takes. You have to be mindful. You have to think about the choices that you're making. Regular meals, like say if you wake up, you're busy all day and you don't eat until 4 o'clock, you're starved, you're hungry. So you're not going to worry about, what you're eating or how much. You just know you're hungry. Making choices like, say for instance, if you go to the Lane Center and maybe you're going to get a fried chicken sandwich, French fries, and a Coke. Well, if you're just thinking about it and think, okay, what's a better choice? Maybe a grilled chicken sandwich. Instead of the fries, get a fruit cup. And instead of the Coke, get some water. Just little choices that if you do those every day, and just it develops into a habit, and that is how you develop a healthy lifestyle. I would say, eating that's one of the big ones, healthy eating. Regular exercise is another thing that's important. I usually recommend the students just starting out to try to get at least 150 minutes a week, and then work up, maybe 30 minutes a day most days. It seems like the students that are the most successful with that are the ones that carve out a time in their schedule. They'll just say, just put it in like a class. This is the day, or this is the day and time I'm going to the gym. It doesn't have to be the gym. You can take a walk, maybe a 10-minute walk in the morning, 20-minute walk in the afternoon. So that, I think, is, just huge. And then one of the big things I see with college students is sleep. That's important to health. But it's hard to get that 7 hours that we try to shoot for. When students are having problems sleeping, what we recommend is to make your room like a cave. Try to make it cool, try to make it dark and quiet. And those things are all conducive to sleep and help.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming in, Mrs. Miller.
Thank you.
If you have any questions or concerns about your health, stop by Brady Health Center. That's all the time we have for this episode of the Frostburg Experience. I'd like to thank my guests, President Nowaczyk, Flo Grain, Ileana Lopez, Julia Miller, and Chef Jess Clay. For the entire crew here at the Frostburg Experience, I'm Mia Williams. Thanks for watching, and please stay tuned for more FSU TV3 programming.